Do you believe in accountable love? Here we go. Okay. Welcome to Accountable Love, home of the LoveSnobs, where love is a group journey. My name is Aziz.
I'm Jerry.
And today we're going to, have a podcast talking about if morality was prioritized like money. Home of the LoveSnobs, LoveSnobs, LoveSnobs. The LoveSnobs have surfaced. You know, the people that actually use honesty to communicate. The genuine friends that refuse to let you feel sorry for yourself. Yes, those people.
You know, the friends that collect your tears every time life makes your eyes rain. The LoveSnobs, the people that don't allow you to settle. Support your dreams, but don't support you sleeping with just anybody.
You know, the friends that are so judgmental, they ask you to stay away from negative people and encourage you to surround yourself with positive people.
Yes, that friend. The friends that love you even when you refuse to love yourself.
You know,
the LoveSnobs.
And the reason we chose this topic is because we know a lot of people that go to work and they rant and rave for raises and, and they're deservingly so. They work hard.
Mm-hmm.
They make sure that they're paid the money they deserve. They make sure they're in the positions that they're supposed to be in. They make sure they get raises, promotions, things of that nature. And those things usually come with more money. And that's why they want the promotion, more responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to their home, if we put a value, like a money value on morality, like you can't just give passes. And you can't give passes because you should believe you deserve the best as well. If you're treated poorly at work, you have something to say. I know I will.
Well, yeah, I think that we were all conditioned to believe that anything that's tangible, like money, is worth the fight, right? And then when it comes to our personal relationships, we fight for it, but in a different way. I think we were conditioned to believe that we should be a lot more lenient because, quote unquote, people say, a person's human, or they give them a lot of, like, they have like a learning curve in order to kind of like get it together. But when it comes to work, if you're not treated a certain way, if you're not getting paid a certain amount, you're ready to bounce.
Definitely.
You're looking for a new job. So
the question is, if their paycheck is if their paycheck is a little short, they raising hell.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody else, anybody else comes up short in your life, I'm sure that they should raise hell. Like you should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a standard. So that's our standpoint. Like, our morality is more important than the money. Money is a necessity. And
absolutely.
Definitely. So we're not going to be fools and say we don't need money. Financial freedom is not something that's important, but it's not something that I'm going to put a value over my personal relationships. So I'm going to be hard on somebody for dealing with my personal relationships than owing me some money.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I also think that integrity that you have at work should transfer over to the integrity that you have in your relationships.
Definitely.
So yes, you could set a standard and say, like, if I'm not going to let my boss treat me a certain way, I'm not going to let my significant other treat me a certain way. But I also think that's where you and I, those are the conversations that you and I have about how if a person is one way at work and they have integrity at work, then all of that integrity should transfer over to their personal relationship.
Definitely.
It shouldn't change or waver because you're not getting paid, but you paid meaning by money, but you're getting paid in another way.
Definitely.
By nurturing and fostering relationships.
It's another set of responsibilities. When we have an understanding, we're mature, we're older, we can watch all the romantic comedies and all the romantic stories we want. And romance is a big part of, a loving relationship. But at the same time, we understand it's a responsibility. Once you decide you love a person, it is a duty. It's just like being a president. It's just like being a king. Just like, like you have a responsibility to a group as opposed to yourself. And you got to make the best decisions for a group. That's what true love is. Like, you shouldn't just love something that don't love you back. You know what I mean? So, like, the whole point of it is we are surrounded by love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when you now look at money, a lot of people, tell you to take a cheating man back or a cheating woman back. They tell, they tell you, like, you have to forgive. And when we look at forgiveness, the way they're saying is reconcile. You got to reconciliate. And forgiveness is just like, don't harbor it. Don't like bring it on. Don't treat other people poorly due to that. But when it comes to money, you see it clearly. So if I'm sitting on the couch all day and my wife is out working and I'm, not doing anything but watching TV, the kids is not washed, the dishes are not done. I'm doing nothing but watching TV. People clearly see that when that person's making money.
Yeah.
And that person is not holding up to the end of the bargain. But when a person is financially responsible, they're self-efficient, but they don't see that the person is not a person who holds up their end of the bargain when it comes to the other person and the other people in their lives.
Well,
So,
you're talking about the spiritual component of it.
Definitely. I'm just saying the spiritual component, but it's still visual. It's still something you can see. Like if it's not benefiting them, they're not doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you see a lot of, like, we're not even talking about the people that's obviously grimy. We're talking about even the people that are very responsible people. They're responsible individuals, but they take their relationships for granted.
Yeah.
So when it comes to making money, they get up early, they are on time, they make sure that they're getting their income. But when it comes to like the way they spend the money, are they mindful of other people? When it comes to how they
but even not even
the quality time, are they more mindful of other people?
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, with with a lot of money comes a lot of responsibility. So a lot of times when you have a person that's making a significant amount of money at work, they have a lot of responsibility at work. That's something that, you have to decide is are you willing to sacrifice possibly time with your family to make a certain amount of money.
Definitely.
And I think that a lot of people would make that, like, I can't talk for everyone else, but it is okay. But but those are the things that people factor in. Like, we could live this cushy lifestyle if I work this, if I work this job, if I am this person at my job, but something has to take a hit.
Definitely. I mean, you could buy the finer things, and we can't, not saying we're knocking the people that go hard, because if they go hard financially, they want to be financially free. Everything's a sacrifice. So you got to weigh your pros and your cons, and you got to have a partner who's willing to go that route with you. But you can't just one day wake up and decide money is going to be more important in your partnership if you sound on to put your partnership ahead of money, and ahead of income, and ahead of being financially, responsible or financially set. So that's one of the things that we need to be mindful of. But when it comes to like money, let's say a hustler, like they make a decent, if they're high on the totem pole, they make a decent amount of money. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about a drug dealer? Like,
I guess hustle nowadays. Hustle
yeah,
no, but I'm saying like a
what do you think about?
Like a drug dealer. They make good money, but they put you at risk in the meantime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everybody's sympathetic to that because, a lot of people who do hustle and sell drugs, they come from poverty-stricken environments where it's justified because, they're oppressed.
Yeah.
But nobody pays attention that they're putting their family at risk, because if they wasn't making much money, everybody would see the how important it is not to sell drugs, or how they're putting their family at risk. But because they're making a set income, they look like they living a good life, and the life is cushy. And, they're around a bunch of people who, want that type of lifestyle as well. It's promoted. I know in our environment, in our background, and our culture is promoted.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, when you talk to people, everybody's making excuses.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're right. I think that, if you don't really have strong morals, then you would basically do whatever for money. You know what I mean? And I think that's where it starts. It's really understanding, like, really being honest with yourself on what you would and would not do for money. And that should be the thing that will help you navigate through life and keep you on the honest side of things. Definitely. So, there's certain things that, because again, money, although it doesn't come easy to a lot of people, but people use that as a way to get you to move a certain way. So you have to be really mindful of who you are, what you stand for, and what you will or will not do.
Definitely. And I mean, when you look at the process of what you will and what not do, why not just look at it as, if you're a person that looks at money as a high value, why not look at how that money's working for you, how your morale is working for you? Like,
Yeah.
I do look at it as a economic thing. Like, if you are taking from me all the time, like you're a person that's taking, that's like you just, you're borrowing money from me. So a person understands, oh, if a person comes to them every time borrowing money, people they're not more inclined to be like, yo, you need to understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because money's coming out of that person's pocket, especially the people that surrounding that person. But when somebody's always coming to them and they constantly need help, taking, putting themselves in positions where they need help, that's a codependent relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And people tell you, be patient with them, have understanding. I mean, it's even to the point when you meet women, or in my case,
Well, I gotta be. Hold up.
Yeah, because you don't meet no women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but so I guess you can finish your thought. Are you saying are women the only ones borrow money? Like,
No.
oh,
I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about how we use our relationships, how we
oh,
should look at relationships as, in the same way we look at money. So if I meet a woman, I'm looking like I'm putting in $1 million. I'm looking for you to put in $1 million.
yeah.
Like I come high class, I come, wealthy. I'm looking for you to have the same wealth. And if you come in and every time we having a discussion, you dominate the discussion and you're taking from me. And I mean, if it's a positive thing, by all means, lead. But if it's a constantly draining and you need support in these areas all the time, then that's when you're taking from the relationship. So you're not really putting in any income, which in that case would be time, effort, giving me back something being reciprocated. And I'm constantly dishing out.
Mm-hmm.
So I meet a decent amount of women like that. And mind you, they are women that are usually the person who has to do all the giving themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get to me, they see somebody strong and they wind up doing the same thing that people do to me. And because I don't stand for it, a lot of people give me these lessons like, yo, you have to understand they have this X, Y, and Z going on in their life. But I'm like, I signed on for a partnership. I signed on for somebody that we working at something together.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sign on for somebody that I got to carry because they carrying 20 other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I look at it as a money thing too, because my value, it has value. Who I am has value.
Well, you're right. And I think that when you clearly, you are very self-aware, but when you are self-aware, you make better decisions. Like I remember a point in my life, it's like Superman. I remember with Black Panther, but I remember huh?
That's Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man, yeah. Anyway. I know that when I was newly working, I always had this figure in my mind of the amount of money that I should be making. And every time I got closer to that number, I added to it. So it was like, it was this number that I created, that I thought that if I had this salary, it would solve all my problems, right? Mm-hmm. And I realized that that's not the case. It's all, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't budget it properly, it doesn't really matter. But you could also live within your means and be very comfortable living within your means, making a decent salary, right? But it's the same thing with relationships. Like people jump from people to people thinking that if I just had this one person to person, I said people to people.
People to people, goddamn.
People,
goddamn, like
they jump from person to person thinking that if this person gives me something that the other person didn't give me, or if this person added something else to my life that the other person didn't, then my life would be free. Not my life would be free, but that I would be in the best relationship. But if you really sit back and you really think about what you want, what your deal breakers are, then you wouldn't be chasing this person that you keep adding on layers to it, to levels to it, so you can get what you want. You know what I mean? So I think that it's the same, like between money and relationships. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
to agree.
Huh?
I said to agree with you. Oh, we have one attendee.
Yeah. See what's happening.
Yeah. Hi, whoever you are.
Yeah, what's going on? I mean, yeah, we wanted people to be more engaged. I mean, right now we only have one extra person.
Yeah, you can actually ask questions. There's a Q&A button. If you go to the bottom of the screen, there's a menu panel. You can ask questions. You could participate in the conversation. Like, what is your take on morality versus money?
Definitely, if you have, like, we could promote you where you could have the discussion with us. Like in this case,
It's Jasmine.
Yeah, it's Jasmine. We see the attendant. We could just add her right now. If she wanted to talk, she could talk. Hello?
Hey.
Yeah, see?
Oh.
Just boosted her up to the panel. So what's your take on, people, morality versus money?
Morality versus money?
Yeah.
So I think for the most part, money is very easy to deal with. It's very easy to see. You can see what ads, you can see the giveaway. There's no tape when it comes to money. It's very straightforward. Morality, I think, is people don't see it as straightforward because they can manipulate it how they want to. It's hard to manipulate with money in regards because
I know, because it's math.
Huh?
Because it's math.
Yeah, people know what they're supposed to be getting. They know, and it affects them very easily and right there, very straightforward. Like you don't give my $320 for rent, and it's like a big problem. Mm-hmm. But if you lie to me, then maybe next time you are. Like people think like if people are also guilted in giving other people chances when it comes to morality, but when it comes to money, it's like, oh, if you can't get my $320, then you gotta go.
Well, bitch, better have my money, right?
Why would you say that they're guilty? Why would you use that term, like guilt?
Because we're always guilty. I think it's the general understanding, like we're not human. These are all things that are given as excuses, like we're not human. They made a mistake. They really regret doing what they're doing. You should forgive them. So I say guilty because there's all of these social understandings that we should forgive somebody because they're not human. But when it's dealing with money seems to affect people like very steadily. Like you don't give my $320 and I might get kicked out. I might get kicked out. So I can easily get somebody to come replace you. I got another roommate lined up. Mm-hmm. When it comes to relationships and stuff like that, it's almost there's more of there's more of an easier, there's like a leeway for people in relationships because they're just are you okay? They're just expected to forgive somebody easily.
Yeah, definitely.
And not hold them to a high standard.
I definitely look at it as like how I would look at it as if I lent somebody $40. They never paid it back. $50, they never paid it back. $100, they never paid it back. Or not paying it back, but people who's going to tell me, you have to understand. You have to understand. You have to understand. The same with morality. So that person owes you amount of money. Shouldn't they have to pay it back before you're lending them more money?
100%.
And before you let them back in your life? Was the same with morality. Like, if a person did you wrong, shouldn't they have to pay that back and go 10 times? Because obviously they're paying double. So let's say their rent was $100. Now they got to pay $100 and $900 because they owe you $100.
But so that makes sense. That makes sense in theory, but in reality, I mean, people like if they only borrow $20 and they should only pay back $20, and just maybe not lend them extra money next time, right? But when it comes to like if they lie, it's just kind of like, okay, well, if they lie again, you know what I mean? It's not like,
well, it's not just, but I don't really think it's just okay. I think people also they tend to settle. Well, they tend to settle in a sense where they believe that the trust is done. The trust, huh?
Settle for less. Settling ain't bad. Settling.
So settling for less. That's why I hesitated because I was like, settle. They settle for less. So I think that if you lie to me, then I will. If I still want to stay in the relationship, I'm hoping you don't lie to me again. But I'm still like, but we still have to build that. We still have to work on building that trust. But the reason I'm still in a relationship is because for whatever reason, I don't want to give up what we have, because in my mind, I'm thinking that whatever the lie is not gonna break the relationship. When it comes to money, I think when you lend somebody money and they don't give it back to you, you're still looking at them with the same side eye. And I highly doubt that you're lending somebody money that doesn't give you your money back again.
Yeah,
like, you're not doing that.
Connect what I was saying. I said, even if it's the $20, if their rent is $800, they still owe you $20. So when they're used to having that extra $20, they still got to pay that money back, which shows integrity, right?
Yes.
But if they keep on going paying their rent but never paying that money back, but keep borrowing, they're not really factoring in that it's coming out of your money as well. It's taking from you. So it's the same with lying to you, it's the same with cheating on you. They're taking from you, but they expect to wake up one day and say, listen, you treat me too hard. They get to decide what they're gonna do to pay the money back. And you're like, no, you have to give my money back. I need this money back. It's the same way. I need you to. I don't trust you anymore. So I need you to actually put forth the effort to actually put us back in a position where I can trust you again. I'm not gonna go work so you can pay me back. You get what I'm saying? So like, I'm working your shift to give you the money so you can pay me back. Because that's what everybody thinks. Like, you cheated on me, I gotta meet you halfway still.
Yeah.
So I'm walking forward and you still gotta meet me. You gotta catch up to me. So you're gonna have to work extra hard. And you gotta understand, anytime you put yourself behind somebody, you're constantly running extra, or you're constantly doing more to catch up. So it's always gonna feel like you're catching up. So that's why some people just cut their losses, like on a person and they move on.
But that's what I mean, like when I say people are hard, like it's easier with money, because you see, it's easier to understand. Well, if someone's working, let's say I owe you $40 or like $300, it's easier for me. It's easier for people to say, you know, you should understand, because, you know, money's money. I either have the money or I don't. But when it comes to like relationships or whatever, it's like, oh, well, you know, this is where people understand morality even more, because it's like, oh, well, you know, you don't know what happened in their past. Like, there's more excuses as to why somebody is the way they are than why they can't pay something back.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's not tangible, but it's the same thing. It's
the same concept.
It's paid in effort. Yeah,
But
it's paid in effort. Yeah. It's paid in time. It's paid in consistency. It's paid in getting on the right path. It's paid in sacrifice. It's paid in making sure. It's actually paid in groveling. It's actually paid in humility. It's actually, you know, there's a lot of ways to pay it back.
Well, it should be paid.
But you have to pay it back. You have to pay it back if you want to be in that person's life, because in their minds they can move on, and they're gonna move on to somebody else anyway. So if you truly want to be back in their life, you're gonna put forth the effort.
Well, you're right, but the same way that we go into situations like with deal breakers, right? When it comes to money, I don't lend money I don't have. That's number one.
Definitely.
Part two, I don't lend money that I don't necessarily get back. Like if it's taken from me and it's like my last and I need it back, there's not even a handful of people that I would actually lend my money to. You know what I mean? Like, so those are the things that when it comes to money and friends and family, those are my rules, right? Mm-hmm. So it's transitioning over to relationships, like going in, knowing what your deal breakers are, knowing what your rules are, what your boundaries are, and actually sticking with it.
Definitely.
Because it's so easy.
I can't do for a long time.
Exactly. If you can't maintain it, then you probably shouldn't do it. If you see red flags in the beginning, then maybe you should pump your brakes and really try to get to know a person a little further before you commit. Go in having the discussion about your deal breakers. There's certain things that you know damn well you're not going to deal with. Lead with that instead of, you know, fostering a connection and then hit them with the, oh, by the way, this is what I don't like. You know what I mean? But if you want to stay with me, then this is what you need to change. So I think that it's funny how most people have those monetary rules that I have. I can speak to 1,000 people and they would say the same thing. I don't lend money I don't have. If I lend it, that means that, you know, it's not making or breaking me. There's only a handful of people that I will give my last to. Then you need to, you know, have that same energy when you're meeting new people.
Definitely. And that's the most important thing. Like, one thing I've realized is and being, I used to be the guy on the other end, running the streets and doing a lot of dumb things. So of course I wanted a
Hold
lot
up.
of people to understand
But
because I didn't want
hold
to put in
on.
the work. I
But you
wanted
sound,
to
hold
do what
on.
I wanted to do and still walk back in the door and people be right where I left them, right?
I know, but hold on. You sound like you was like selling drugs. Like you're not a drug dealer. You was
I
never a
wasn't
drug dealer.
selling
You say
drugs,
you was
but I
running,
was,
you was
I
running
mean,
the
like I
streets. But
committed,
I need you to clarify.
no, but I did bad things. Like, okay, selling drugs is an occupation that's a consistent. I didn't do the selling drugs part, but I actually put my hands on people I shouldn't be putting my hands
So
on.
you was a menace.
Yeah, I committed hate crimes. I did, you know, I
Okay.
did a lot of dumb things that I shouldn't have been doing because of the anger I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't taught to justify it. So therefore I knew I had to clean up the mess.
Mm-hmm.
I had to become 10 times the man I was, 10 times the person I was. I couldn't just be one time the person I was or two times the person I was. I had to make a complete change and maintain that change until people started seeing me as the changes I made.
Mm-hmm.
I expected them to see me as the same person until I was consistent, until I did it long enough where it became who I am. So that's where the accountability portion comes in. But I'm just saying, I know how that feels. So like when we're talking about lacking judgment, when we're talking about all these things, there's no way a person that is walking the straight and narrow came up with all these rules. There's no way.
Yeah.
Who comes up with those rules and they actually doing what they need to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like what runner that runs quick is telling you to slow up?
Mm-hmm.
Which person that excels and that is really exceptional and work to be exceptional and putting the work to be exceptional really is telling people to wait for them?
Yeah.
They want the challenges and they want,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they want to put forth the effort and they, you know what I mean? And then you want somebody that matches your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're going to only lend money to people who actually are going to give it back. You're going to actually get a job, look at the salary and make sure that you can maintain your bills with that salary.
Yeah.
But there are people who are poverty stricken. There are people that are desperate. But at the same time, like with the right people around you, you're wealthy because if everybody's minimum wage, everybody got to find a way to survive. And if you work as a team, you're going to find that way to survive. But if you work singular, that money don't go far. It don't stretch far. You know what I'm saying? So know your circumstance. Like I've been a person that was, you know, was poor. I've been a person that had to eat peanut butter and jelly and I'm not talking about Skippy. I'm talking about the welfare, hard,
The government
peanut
cheese.
butter, you know, that got stuck at the root of your mouth. You know, I had to make sure that we had to make sure that stretched between 5 people.
Yeah, same.
Sometimes
We were a
6,
family of
sometimes
6.
8.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because my mother, you know, she always would take in people from the neighborhood, so and made sure that they ate. So, you know, we understood the importance of community. You know what I mean? We understood the importance of the value of people over money.
But I
You know
guess,
what I mean?
the thing is because you grew up poor, I grew up poor as well, right?
Definitely.
And I would say that because I grew up poor, there were certain things that I didn't want to repeat as an adult. Like I didn't want to be where my parents were, right?
Definitely.
So I decided to, you know, I've been working for a really long time, but I always wanted to put myself in the position to be to have financial freedom, right? And so that was always a goal of mine. And I think that because that was a goal of mine, I kind of lost sight on, at some point through that journey, I lost sight on connecting with people, right? Because I was always thinking that I had to get this, like my finances had to be in order for me to even have certain things. So, or my finances had to be in order, so I had to work 90, 100 hours a week, you know what I mean? So I would say that at one point in my life, I was chasing money because I thought that would give me the happiness that I thought that it would give me. When we all know that that's not the case. Where you grew up poor as well, but you were never chasing money. Like you never had this idea that money will make your life better.
I was chasing the job that's gonna make me. I was really chasing peace of mind.
Yeah.
Period.
And
Like,
I was giving up my peace of mind to make money.
Definitely. I was gonna chase peace of mind, period. So I always knew that when I got out of school, I was gonna room with 3 other people or 2 other people. Like I wasn't gonna actually pay rent to the fullest extent in New York. Like that was just crazy to me. And not have the income to basically like one check goes straight to rent. Like how are you saving? How are you progressing? But at the same time, I also knew if that's where all my money went, I can't live a certain lifestyle. I'm also okay with that if I had the right people around me. So my value always was in people.
Yeah.
And if you have the right people around you, y'all gonna pinch and y'all gonna make sure that each other eat. If you only got $20 extra for 3 months, every check 3 months, then you're gonna save that 20 and put it towards whatever that other person needs. And everybody gonna put their little $20, and that's how you build a strong unit. That's how you get somebody something they may need. You know what I mean? Because you put forth your effort, your extras into getting them what they need or a necessity. And then you don't need the extra money when you have great company.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because
you're right.
What do you do now? Really? Like you're grown, you're responsible, your fun is different.
Yeah.
How much money do you truly spend if you're not splurging?
Yeah, agreed.
Besides having children.
I agree. The thing is that, it was like a lot of, we are raised in a lot of households where individuality is like the biggest thing, right?
Definitely.
So if you are of a certain age, society makes you believe at some point, not right now because prices in New York are crazy, but at some point, if you had a roommate, if you live with somebody, then you really wasn't as successful as you thought you were.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And so that always resonated with me. Like, I need my own place. I need my own things. I need to prove to myself that I can do this on my own. But I learned that, yeah, I can do it on my own, but why should I do it on my own? And like you said, your money can go a lot further if you collaborate with other people. You also have this spiritual connection with people. You're building in a different way that money can't buy.
Definitely.
So all the money in the world.
Around the city.
Yeah, all types of stuff. I mean, we spent all summer doing all types of.
Definitely, you throw big barbecues and
yeah,
everybody chips in. You are able to still have fun. You know what I mean? And you learn that at a young age when everybody, when I could have went and got me, let's say, at the time, what would you say the prices were for like a individual drink, like a Tropicana?
Oh gosh, I don't know, $2.
Tropicana drink. But instead, I have the $2. Two of my friends don't have no money. I'm gonna buy me one of them big, and it's less healthier, but one of them big sodas, 2-liter sodas, CNCs, and we gonna get busy.
I like you always give that you always give an example of that, but I like the pizza story better.
What pizza story?
The one that you said, like, if everyone had $2, you could buy a pie. Yeah.
And I went shop. Yeah, I would buy back in the days, pizza, what, $10?
Yeah, right. A pie.
You can get 8 slices. Like everybody can eat. Or I can go to McDonald's and get an individual meal for me. So like I've always been like that. Like why do I have to eat while everybody else don't eat? But that's the thing. Like I don't see why we like right now we dealing with the coronavirus, right? And I know you didn't want to. You was itching to bring it up.
I was not itching to bring it. I was not itching to bring it up.
Right now, we dealing with the coronavirus, and we all need to work as a team to make sure we establish ourselves within those, informing ourselves, being educated, making sure that we communicate if somebody contracts it, if what treatments are they getting, give them the support they need. At the same time, you gotta keep your distance. So like we all have to be honest and open and transparent, even with strangers now.
Yeah.
Because this is not just a virus that's attacking one person; it's attacking everybody. So we all have to be diligent, and we all have to make sure that we communicate. But why does it take a drastic thing like the coronavirus to actually be transparent and actually see community and actually see that the person next to you is another person that needs to gain an understanding? And this is just talking about humanity. We just went into a whole nother topic because humanity has different rules than personal relationships. Personal relationships, we're able to be selfish. We're able to pick exactly the people we want in our lives. And I think people lose track of that. They mix them up like you're inhumane for choosing one person over the other. And you could just like the way a person smiles more than the other person. Like, it's your choice. But when it comes to like promoting a person or helping a person or supporting a person, that's a stranger. Or if you have the means, yeah, be human, be humane, provide those means.
Well, a lot of people are self-driven. So I think that because there's no discrimination when it comes to the virus, right? So no one wants it. No one wants to be a carrier. Nobody wants to transfer it over to somebody else. But I think that it's one of those things where they don't, because a lot of people are self-absorbed and they're thinking about self, is now that everyone wants to do their part. But if everyone was already doing their part, like we spoke to, someone, we had a conversation, you and I, and the person said, I have a child who has a compromised immune system. Everyone's doing this is how I live my life, right? So everyone should be washing their hands for 20 seconds. Everyone should be coughing in their elbow. Everyone should stay home when they're sick. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't have to be a crisis for people to do what they should do. And I think that this is eye-opening for our employers as well. I think they've realized that, yeah, people should they should promote more people staying home when they're sick instead of giving them the side eye when they're calling out sick. Or when you're truly sick and you're out for more than one day, when you are truly sick, you out for more than one day. And that should be okay. You know what I mean? Because you really want somebody to be fully recovered. So I think that because this virus is not discriminating and it can happen to any one of us, I think now people are like, yeah, let's all band together and do the right thing. But it shouldn't take a crisis for people to band together to do the right thing.
Definitely. What
the hell's so funny?
No, because I'm looking over at the comments.
There's comments?
Yeah, there's comments on Facebook, but I'm trying to get them to come over to the actual chat.
What are they saying?
We can have discussions. And Nina's always funny, so she's talking about Kool-Aid and sugar's on sale.
I'm sure it is. But ask her if there's any toilet paper.
Yeah, there's no toilet paper. Everybody getting.
Oh, I see her. Hi, Nina. Oh, drastic measures.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm late to the conversation, so I don't know if I'm speaking out of context. But my thoughts on lending money is that I won't lend anything that I can't afford to go without forever. Yeah, that's my point. If the person doesn't pay me back, then their credit is dead with me. Yeah. I won't usually cut off a relationship over the money though. Yeah, I think that
you already cut it off because you already put it.
Huh?
Like, you already was standoffish.
Well, the thing is, like, that's something I struggled with my family for a long time. I think that, and again, because they were family, I kind of let the relationships go. I kind of let things go longer than they probably should have. But I think that when it comes to, I think when a person doesn't pay you back, it's how they don't pay you back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, drastic, wouldn't you say? Like, do you think that if they dip and dodge you, do you think that shows that they don't have integrity? But if they're supposed to pay you back on the 10th and they tell you on the 5th that, or even the 8th or the 9th that, hey, I'm sorry, but the money didn't really come through for me, I can't pay you back, their credit is not necessarily dead, is it? You just can't lend somebody money who really can't give it back to you. Like, you're setting them up to fail. But I wouldn't say that the credit is dead, right? Justin?
Well, I agree with you, Jerry. I do think it's how it go, like how the situation carries about, and it's exactly what you said. If they owe me money and now all of a sudden they're avoiding me and shit, I'm like, yo, like, yeah, it shows integrity. You know what I'm saying? It shows there's a lot of character that shows when someone is dealing with, because if they can be humble enough to ask you for money, they should be humble enough to say, hey, listen, I don't have it, and stay in communication with you and keep you updated. Like, listen, I might not be able to get you that money for a couple months because it's not what I thought was happening. I'm not getting the money I thought I was getting. Mm-hmm. As long as I communicate that, I do think that the thing should be okay. Or as long as they they're doing it and they're living that same lifestyle. But if you see them going out and they're clubbing and they're doing this and doing that, that also shows.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Their actions should match their words. If they don't have it, then they don't have it. But if they don't have it, it's not for you, but they have it for themselves in other ways, that also shows character. And I would debt somebody off of that, 100%.
Yeah, but I also think too, I know my rule of thumb when it comes to me borrowing money, I don't, if I'm in a position where I have to borrow the money, then I'm not really in the position to kind of give it back. You know what I mean? Like it depends on what it's needed for. Like sometimes something comes up and you're like, oh, let me borrow this money to get off this hump and I get paid this day. Fine. But if you're like behind and like if there's certain things that kind of pile up and if I'm paying you back and then I got to pay rent and I got to pay this, like how am I ever going to really catch up? So I think that, as friends, we need to stop enabling each other too. Like if I come to you and I'm like, hey, I need $500 for my rent. And then you're like, okay, but when you get paid and you give me this $500 back, what about next month? You know what I mean? Like how you planning, like this can't be a reoccurring thing, even though like some things happen out the blue, like that are not foreseen. And you can't plan for it and whatever, but it's, if you're around people too, that are not really, in the best position to give you them, like, those people, like, the people that can't give you the money back. So you have to have a bigger conversation to begin with. 100%. And I think that that's something that we need to also do as well, which is I started doing with my family members, was having that conversation. Like, we already been down this road. You know damn well you can't give me the money back. So just say you want the money. Like
exactly. That was gonna be the next point. 100%. Like you have that bigger conversation. And you just start off with like, listen, like, you can't pay me back, so why don't you just start asking for the money?
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Ask me. Don't be passive aggressive and be like, hey, can I borrow? Knowing damn well I'm never gonna get that money back. Mm-hmm. So I agree, but I all the way to the beginning of the conversation, I guess that's essentially what we're talking about when we're building our villages and building people around us who don't prioritize money over morality, but see it as one and the same. Mm-hmm. Because if you're borrowing money, your morals are going to show me that I can trust you. Mm-hmm. So if I know that if I'm lending you money, I already know hands down that if you don't have it, you're going to communicate. If you have it, you're going to give it back. Like whatever works, but we're going to be on the same lines with our morals and how we go about things with integrity. That we wouldn't even have to have this conversation because those things will already be established.
Well,
I guess that goes back to what Drastic Measure was saying. Maybe he didn't cut him off for owing them money, but he'll cut him off for basically. I mean, we talk to you all the time, man. You might not be cutting people off because you understand circumstances a little too much, man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm cutting somebody off who is constantly just taking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because, like, if we really have a discussion, if my partner or my friend or whoever it is if they're really behind on their rent or something like that, like, I'm giving them money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's no way they can catch back up. So, of course, we're going to put them in a position to succeed. But at the same time, when somebody's just taking from the relationship, I think that's where we have these problems. That's where we have these issues.
But like we said earlier, it's easy to see when it's money, but when it comes to the relationship, it's harder. Like it's harder to make it. People find it very hard to make those decisions. Like I would say with my dad as well.
Yeah, Drastic is on.
Hi, Drastic.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yes, good. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. This is my first time using this app, so this is kind of new to me.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Mine too. It took me
half an hour
to get
on
on.
This way. Everything's smooth.
So I was saying, so to finish my point, then we can go to Drastic. I tackled the money issue with my family before I talked about the state of our relationship. You know what I mean? Like it was easier to have that conversation than to talk about what really was the issue. So I think that, that's something I also had to learn as well, that it's all about integrity, no matter how you slice it. And if you're going to address the money issue, then I'm sure that there's other things that you need to address, and you should be addressing that as well.
Yeah, that's true. But there are cases where certain people just aren't good with money, and it's not nothing personal. They're not trying to violate you intentionally. They pay their bills late. Their credit is bad. You know what I'm saying? They're just bad with money. But that doesn't mean that they're a bad person. That's why I separate it. So like if a person doesn't pay me back, you know what I'm saying, their credit is dead with me until they pay it back. If they pay it back late, then you know what I'm saying, then I'll be willing to lend to them again. You know, that's the way I look at it.
What about being in an equal and healthy relationship? So Why are you hanging around people who aren't financially responsible?
But because that's just
why
your
would
character.
that be your friend and
Yeah.
that's your strong suit? Why are you not sitting down with that friend and making sure they're financially responsible? Why are y'all living separate lives?
Yeah, I mean, the way, you know, I can't hold on to information without giving it out. If I feel like I got something that's gonna enhance somebody's life or their well-being, like I'm gonna give that information out. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Sometimes you could lead people, you could lead the horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it. You know what I mean? There might be other good qualities that's good about that person aside from how they handle money. You know what I mean?
But they could be. Why can't that? Well, I agree with the money part. Why can't that be your associate? Because if y'all not equally yoked, you know what I mean? If y'all not on the same page, you're not going the same direction, then you basically have a wagon and you dragging them up a hill. When y'all supposed to be walking side by side. I mean, we had an age where we be walking side by side with people. There's charity and then there's friends.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess I don't really have a lot of close friends that I would say friends. So most of the people that I'm, you know what I'm saying, is acquaintances or whatever the case may be anyway. Like I'm pretty much, my path right now was what Jerry was just recently talking about how she used to be. That's where I'm at right now, just chasing the bag. So I really don't got time to have a bunch of friends that I'm interacting with on a regular basis.
But my problem with that whole understanding though is that at what point then is that person ever held accountable? So okay, they're your friends or they're around you, and yeah, you understand their circumstances, but it's kind of like at what point are they going to be accountable for themselves and say they're going to be a better friend to you? So they can expect you to be a good friend to them and give them money upon request, but they can't take the time to listen to your advice and do better for themselves.
Yeah.
How much, and that's what I would agree with Aziz, like how much understanding are you really trying to give? Because at some point, now you're enabling their behavior. So really, you're not a good friend anyway.
No, I definitely don't enable it because, like, as transparent as I am in this conversation, I'm that transparent with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Especially with somebody that wants to borrow money. Like, they already know from the get-go what my stance on that is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to cut you off as a friend or associate, whatever the case may be. And I'm not going to loan to you if I can't afford to be without it forever. Like, if you asking me to borrow a crazy amount of money that I can't afford to go without, like, I'm not going to loan you that. I'll loan you something that I can afford to. If you don't pay me back, it's not going to affect, you know, my quality of life or me paying my bills or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And then I'm just expecting you to be integral about it. And if you don't, that speaks about your character, you know?
But the thing is that it's one thing to understand where a person, it's one thing to understand where a person stands, right? But you always are going to look at that person with a side eye anytime anything related to money comes up. You know what I mean? Like you can say you accept them for who they are and that they are bad with money, but to be quite honest, when you get to a certain age, like that's not going to fly. When you're 18 years old, in your 20s, and you're bad with money, maybe you're still learning. But when you're like 30 plus or 40 plus and you're still bad with money, that should never be an excuse. And that showed that everything transfers over. So maybe on the surface, you're not really thinking that that's a big deal. But when it comes to money and you guys out and they're like, yeah, guys, you know, I can't really pay for my portion of the meal. I know everyone's thinking like, well, maybe if you didn't buy that bag, or maybe if you budgeted your money, or you didn't know that we were going out, you know what I mean? Like all those things are going through your head. So it does matter. It's just that you willing to accept that about that person because you don't want to let that relationship go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I might be giving them a side eye when it comes to money issues. You know what I'm saying? But I could separate that. You want to get together and play spades? We play spades. You want to shoot some pool? You want to watch a Netflix movie? Whatever, you know what I mean? But can you borrow $20? Nah, you dead. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it.
I mean, I guess what the whole discussion is dealing with morale, how people look at morale and they don't really look at principles. They look at money as something that is a lot stronger than their principles. So like if I told somebody that my wife took my money out the bank and splurged it on something and now we're getting ready to be homeless. Everybody understands why I walked away from it. But if she crippled me by like cheating on me multiple times and lying to me,
constantly undermining you.
Yeah, constantly undermining me, and now I'm walking away. They like, yo, you know, she can get it together. If you truly love her, you'll stick by her. And I'm like, I think that's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like money I can get back. but I'm always gonna look at her a certain way. Like she stole what made our relationship pure. She stole what made, what made us have value, because I can be with anybody that's gonna cheat and lie and steal from me. I could be with anybody.
Yeah, that remind me of that 50 Cent quote. He said, "I hate a liar worse than I hate a thief. A thief is only after my salary. A liar is after my reality." You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So like, if she undermining you, disrespecting you, lying to you, like that's worse than losing money. I agree with you there.
So that's what we're looking at. We really comparing the fact that, like, I look at who I am as a value, not money, not how much money I have, not how much income I have. Like you said, you chasing bags. What I'm doing is I'm chasing people with moral character. No, once I have great people around me with moral character, the money's gonna come. Why? Because we put our heads together and we're gonna do something amazing with it anyway.
Well, for a lot of people, I think that money it becomes their identity and who they are, and it adds to their self-worth. And again, I've been there. You know what I mean? Like, I thought if I didn't make a certain amount of money, then not that I wasn't shit, but just that I wasn't as successful as I needed to be. And like you said, it goes way beyond that. And I learned that along the way, because we are doing Love is a Group journey, and we're entrepreneurs on that end, but I also still have a regular 9-to-5. And because I have a regular 9-to-5, I can get fired tomorrow. And then what?
Yeah.
I'm not making this nice salary, then I'm going to be sitting depressed somewhere because that salary defines who I was.
You got you got people in your corner who are going to hold you down.
Absolutely. Not only do I have people in my corner, but the salary that I make now, although it allows me to have luxury, that doesn't define who I am. Yeah. And I think that that's something I had to learn over time, because you would have caught me 6 years ago, it probably would have been something different.
It's nothing more amazing than people moving on one accord. Mm-hmm. You can't stop a bunch of people moving in the same direction, battling for each other, not letting division happen, not really at an age where they're still focused on being individuals and having their own, mm-hmm. versus building something greater than their own. We into building villages. It's hard for us to really have an interaction with somebody who's just trying to build their own, trying to build their house, trying to build their cause and their net worth. No, we're looking at people. How many people you bringing along? How many people on your team? But doing it alone, that's why you don't sleep at night. If you got a team that moves on one accord while you sleep, somebody else is up moving.
Yeah.
So everything's taken care.
Yeah,
go ahead.
My bad. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Jump in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I guess my strategy and approach is a little different than y'all's. Like I highly respect the movement that y'all got. You know what I'm saying? The fact, the camaraderie, the unity. You know what I'm saying? But like from my perspective, what you guys have is something that's not easy for everybody to attain. You know what I mean? Like after having so many failed relationships and, you know what I'm saying, trying to give my all and trying to make it work, I came to I drive the city bus, you know what I'm saying? That's what I do for occupation. And there was an old man that just got on my bus the other day, just reeking of urine, you know what I'm saying? And the first thought that came to my mind is like, this old man must not have a lot of people around him that love him. Like, how was he out on public transportation smelling like that? And he had his wits about him. Like he's holding conversations. He's on his way to go shopping at the mall, you know what I mean? But, and that led me to think that, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes people get into bad relationships and hold on to bad relationships because they don't want to be alone when they get old. And I figure the remedy to that is if you get your life, your quality of life, you know what I'm saying, to a certain level, you know what I mean? I could just pay for people to be around, you know what I'm saying? My maid, my butler, they could give me companionship, you know what I'm saying? That's not optimal, but you know, it's not that bad of a consolation.
Yeah, but that sounds like hurt right there. That sounds like
where you gave up.
You shouldn't give up.
Breeding hurt. Mm-hmm. Because like if you've been poor your whole life, but you still have idea to chase money. But no matter how many times money hurts you, you're still chasing. Yeah. But when it comes to people, instead of just changing the people and keeping the same mentality until you find the right people, you now focus and closed up and said, listen, I'm going to have a butler and a maid that's going to help me out. They can't give you that partnership that a person would give you that you actually invested in them and they invested in you.
Yeah, and it's not genuine. Like when you, it's like, you know, being a social media influencer and paying for likes. You know what I mean? Like it's you can get it and you may look popular, but are you really going to be happy? Are you really going to be connecting with them? Do they truly want to still be there? You know, to add on to Izzy's analogy, it's like you get fired from a job, you get up the next day, you redo your resume and you're looking for another job. Like doesn't mean like you don't stop. So to his point, like you shouldn't stop in a relationship. You just keep going. I think what we have, although it's not we make it look easy, but we work at it every single day. We want it, we work at it, we have discussions, we talk about where we are with each other, we're honest about where we are with each other, we honest about where we want to go, we honest about where we at. And although it looks easy, we wake up every day wanting to be in a relationship and acting as such. So we just didn't, you know, decide, oh, let's all hold hands and let's have this kumbaya moment and make this village happen. It's something that we had to work toward, and everyone can do the same. They just have to be around the right people.
That's why we have. Sorry, you stopped. I thought you was finished.
Did I pause?
Well, I mean, that's why we have Love as a Group Journey, because we truly believe that everybody, and we're not going to say everybody. I mean, if you've been a snake to a bunch of people,
yeah.
Probably, you know what I mean? You probably got to hang with other snakes. But we're trying to get all the people who actually carry the world on their shoulders, actually been upstanding people, actually showed up every day, and they just didn't have the proper people around them. We're letting them know, like, listen, you have value. And go and don't stop until you find those people. You don't have to have 10 people, you gotta have 3.
Yeah.
4 people moving, like we always say, 4 people is the optimal amount of people, because if you stand on the corner, you can see all parts. If you're standing back to back on the corner. So that's where you really want to have those people who actually have your back no matter what, and they can see where you can't. So anytime you need to rely on them to see something you can't see, they're actually making you the best you can be. Because a lot of people talk about I'm only human. And I'm like, I'm trying to be exceptional. Like, that's the whole point. That's what we're trying to go. And we're trying to make the exceptional the norm. You know?
No doubt.
So I think that that's important. Like, it's cool that you moving the way you're moving, because I'm sure, you know, like, we all got bills to take care of. We all got things we have to do. We might have did dumb things when we was young.
Making up for it now, working overtime.
And not working overtime and doing all that. But I think peace of mind comes from having that support when you come home and you work in those hours and you putting forth that work, having those people that's like, listen, why don't we do something together? Mm-hmm. Why don't we decide to build something that we all can eat from? Let's use these jobs to work for us.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We all have things in common. Let's move as one unit. And then nothing's going to stop you. You're going to get called all kinds of things. What we get called? Cold.
Oh, yeah.
You think I'm with 20 women? Like, we go through all kinds of... Hello?
That's just people hating, you know what I'm saying? Because they jealous about what they can't make happen.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. I mean, and they thinking about what they would make happen.
Yeah, basically.
If they had 2 women around them, 2 attractive. But, I mean, it's not easy being that male. And we have extensions. We have people that live in Pennsylvania we real cool with. We have people that, you know, that I don't see all the time, but they're part of the movement, and we making sure that they are working in one accord as well. So like, that's all we talk about. As you get older, you mature, and you still talking about I think that's the problem. Everything's complete. How are we moving? How are we gonna establish something? How are we not letting poison, no viruses in? Like, that's why we have all these back and forths with you, Drastic, because we're like, it's okay to see, oh, well, the other side of things. And we like, okay, so you living on the 10%. Because you're always attacking the arguments with the 10% of what could happen. Everybody can do that and dispel an argument. But what's the high? We deal with percentages, nothing's absolute. So we deal with the percentages. Nobody's betting on the 10%. Everybody betting on the 80, the 90%. So you want to get yourself in that 90 percentile when it comes to all these positive things. Like being healthy. Jerry gets in my behind. Yo, you're not young no more. I'm like, he has a
serious sweet tooth.
I can still eat an apple pie and throw some ice cream on it. And before you know it, half the apple pie's gone, you know, but She's
Yeah,
like,
but you run on a regular basis, you work out, so it's all good to splurge every now and then, though, right?
No, it is. But the thing about it is, Aziz is no spring chicken. We're actually the same age now. So it's just really about, you know, yes, he does run. And the annoying part about it is that he loses weight way faster than I do. But it's really just, I just want him to be informed on the choices he could make, and then he can make an informed decision. So that's why we talk, because it's more about, you know how much sugar is in that? Like the amount of sugar in that orange is the same amount of sugar in that pie. Like, do you need both? Like stuff like that.
At the same time, to be real, the accountability is like, I don't want to have to take care of you because you made selfish choices.
That makes sense.
Too.
Yeah.
When we get older, I don't want to have to be
You got diabetes and shit. I'm just giving you a shot.
Around in a wheelchair. You got young children. You got a young child. Like, get it together. And that's the bottom line. Like, we get that tough love. Nobody deals with emotions all the time. You know, and we deal with the logic of things. Like, we argue like cats and dogs, and we get busy, and sometimes we don't talk for a day. Sometimes, you know, we go through the same things, but at the end of the day,
sorry,
everything's about making sure we on the same page and moving in one
unit.
All the time. You can dip 27. Everybody would tell you there's 27 ways to do this. We're moving at one unit. We only need one.
Yeah.
We're working to find one. We're not like everybody else that want to find 27 ways to do things. It's okay that there's 27 ways. We're moving at one unit. We can't go 27 ways. We got to go one.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But that's how we're working. Love is a group journey, meaning we're doing this love thing as one unit, and we're trying to evolve and build other people up so they're moving in one unit as well. And then it's harder to divide people that's living in a positive way.
Absolutely.
You wake up. Like, that's quality. When you wake up with peace of mind. And then you're naturally going to do the same with them because you're used to giving.
Oh, yeah.
See? So, that's what I'm saying. So that's defining quality right off the tip. A person that knows their worth, but only have people around them that understand their worth.
Yeah.
It's hard not to disrespect somebody that's insecure.
Yeah.
That's hard.
You said it's hard not to disrespect somebody that's insecure?
Definitely. They're going to constantly, it's going to weigh on you. It's going to weigh on you.
Or just the fact that just the fact that you know that you can get over, you know that they're not going to advocate for themselves. I know that doesn't sit well with me. So,
yeah, like I'm sorry, my bad. I don't mean to cut you off. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, if you can't, I was just saying, like, if you're around somebody that can't advocate for themselves, then how do you really believe that they truly have your back?
No, I speak up. I'm vocal. You know what I'm saying? I'm assertive, but I don't mandate a person to have integrity or have good character. I'm just going to see whether or not you got good character or integrity.
Well, you don't mandate it. You don't force them into it. You connect with them. You talk to them to see if they actually do. And then that would allow you to see if you could take the relationship a step further. But yeah, you don't go in saying that you have to be this, that, and the third. It's you talk to each other to see if they are that person. And if they are, then you continue on. So yeah, nobody's forcing anybody to be anything.
Is it inspiration a seed planted? Like, if you can't influence somebody that you're around, then why are you around them?
Yeah.
Because then when they're doing something wrong, you can't influence them to do something right. So everybody's worrying about controlling somebody. But at the end of the day, if you taught me something, you did control me because I had no knowledge. You did change my mind.
Yeah, the true definition of control. When we think of control, we think of something negative. Definitely. But really, control is just influencing somebody.
Definitely.
No, I'm not even looking at it from that perspective. I'm looking at it from, I don't want a person doing something like, how do I word this? I want them to do it from a genuine place, not just because I spoke up on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to speak up on it regardless. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? But I want it to come from a genuine place because that's genuinely who you are. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, but what if somebody just needs a little bit of guidance? Like, it's not, so you want people to show up because they want to be there, right? So that's a given. But it's what if someone, have been interacting with people in one way, and like they're selfish in an area, and you realize that they're selfish in that area, but overall they are a decent person. It's okay to, and if they believe that they want to change their selfish behavior, then I think that that's okay too. That in that instance, it wasn't genuine for them not to be selfish, but overall, they knew that their selfishness will pull you guys apart, but instead they want to walk towards you instead of away from you. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, I understand what he's saying.
So how do you deal with a situation if a person do something, you speak up on it, let them know you don't like that, they should change that, and then they do the same thing again?
First off, I'm going to see if they agree.
Yeah.
I can't just speak up on it. Like, I understand that it's two people in a relationship. So if I don't like them doing something, but they don't mind that they're doing it, then we already now on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we had a standstill. So we got to decide what we're going to do with the relationship. But if they agree that they're going to stop doing it, then I'm holding them accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm holding them accountable by keeping it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. But I'm not going to keep it moving because I'm going to actually have another, depends on the person, depends on, like we look at things, there's misdemeanors and there's felonies. So a felony, obviously, you know, you might get one more time. A misdemeanor, you might get several times. So,
well, it depends. It's like it's like you don't put your clothes away, or you don't come home at night. Like, you know what I mean?
Good,
like,
good example. Yeah.
It depends on what it is. Like, if you have somebody who is used to living alone and they're not really the cleanest, I mean, maybe being clean or being organized is a deal breaker for you. So I think when you go in knowing what you are accepting, what you're not accepting, it's easier for you to navigate in a relationship and decide what's worthy of walking away. Maybe organization means the world to you and you don't want to be with a woman who's not organized. Then you shouldn't.
But you probably shouldn't. Parameters. You have to set the parameters. So if that person does it again, you should have set the parameters before y'all move forward.
Absolutely.
We're going to have this discussion. I really didn't like that you did X, Y, and Z. What do you think? Yeah, what I did was messed up, whatever. Okay, you do it again. I'm gonna be honest with you, we can't move.
You froze.
Who?
You. Oh, that's me. Yeah. Oh, my internet connection is in the Bronx.
So I still see both of y'all moving.
Oh, you still, okay.
So that's where that comes from. I'm like, it's all about effective communication.
But it's like
anybody that's really nervous about losing you, they're gonna do it again. Because if I did something that I do once in a blue, and they tell me, yo, listen, that's not something I'm rocking with, I should be able to change that and not do it again. Mm-hmm. But if it's who I am, in essence, I'm gonna do it again.
Using Jerry's example, you know what I'm saying, clothes versus not coming home at night. If a person do something like not come home at night, and you just have a discussion, all they had to do was say, I'm sorry. Like, they already knew when they didn't come home that night, there was a chance that you was going to walk away. You know what I'm saying? So by you giving them the second chance, like, it's done. You know what I'm saying?
No, it could be. It could be like done based on the stipulations. Like, if they didn't come home at night, and it's most times. Like,
all you need is one time, Aziz.
No, they didn't come home last night, but they have a great understanding of why they didn't come home last night is what I'm saying.
Like what? No grown man falls asleep on somebody's couch. Like,
why not?
I got luggage. Like, there's most men.
You got luggage. There's a bunch of people that go out that's not used to going out that end up at their friends.
At what age?
No. I wouldn't even go that. What I would say on Aziz's end, like let's say the person who isn't good at communicating, right? But he needs a break. Excuse me. But he needs a break, but he didn't communicate that with the chick he's with, right? So he decides, you know what, I'm gonna go to my friend's house. He didn't come home, but then when she asked him, he's like, you know what, I have a hard time telling you this, but whatever, I'm really not feeling what's going on. At that point, I could say, you know what, I don't appreciate you not coming home. You need to have this. You need to talk with me more. You need to communicate with me more before you do something like this. Yeah. You know, next time I'm not gonna, go forward. In situations like that, maybe I would agree with Jerry. Like,
what transpired.
Not from home.
What I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like falling asleep somewhere on the couch. I mean,
exactly, because the same way you took an Uber to Homeboy's house, you could have took an Uber home.
No, I'm saying you went to the after party. I'm just using a like a scenario. You went to an after party, you chilled at their house. Number one, my old behind is falling asleep randomly. Yep. Jasmine behind. She younger than me. She falling asleep randomly all the time. So I'm saying it's the integrity of the person. If I came to you and told you I fell asleep on this person's couch, would you believe me?
For me?
Yeah, I believe you.
That's good, because you know the integrity of the person.
Who you are.
So if you don't believe them when they say it, 9 times out of 10, you didn't trust them before they left the house.
I agree with that. 100%.
I agree with that too.
So that's why I'm saying it's a deeper thing. If you now going in with you got a preconceived notion that you're like, oh, when he leaves, he didn't really sleep on that person's couch.
What I would say to you though,
The person you dealing with that you don't trust when they come home and tell you that's what they did.
The thing is, you would be responsible. So when you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning because you got to piss, I'm getting a text.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't go until the next morning at whatever time you roll over to say, oh shit, I didn't go home. Like you said, I've been drunk. You've been drunk. You always got to get up in the middle at some point to use the bathroom. You on the couch, you come to, you're like, oh shit, where am I? Well, that's never been, you know what I mean? The point is that you at some point you open your eyes before 7 in the morning and you're like, oh shit, it's 5. I need to text.
Now let's say I didn't. Okay, let's say I woke up, didn't text you, whatever, and came home. Based on the man that you with, and you trust the man that you with, and he told you I fell asleep on a man's couch, are you walking away from that?
I mean, no, that's
the bottom line. No. Yeah. But if it's a dude that you already think is full of it,
I'm cutting him off.
You're more likely not to believe him, and you're more likely to want to walk away. If it's the women, they're a little bit more insecure, so they might walk away for the fact that they just don't want to get played.
Or after it happened the first time, you had the conversation about it, and then they're doing the same thing again. You know what I'm saying? You already expressed yourself.
That's different. That changes everything, because now the parameters.
But the thing is, like, it has happened to me, right? And at the time, I didn't think that. I believed him, because he said he was at home he didn't go out. He was at his friend's house. They were playing video games. They were drinking. He doesn't drink a lot. He was a lightweight. Like, he didn't drink a lot. His tolerance was low, and they fell asleep on the couch. Later on, when we broke up, he confessed that night he was with the next chick. And that whole thing didn't happen. The whole thing didn't happen. But I didn't have any reason not to believe him. I believe that.
You should believe him. I mean, the thing is, a good cheater is going to get over. You spending your time trying to second guess it, because if you don't trust the person you with, whether they cheated on you or not, the relationship's already done anyway.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Because you don't have peace of mind. So I'm never going to be with somebody I don't trust. So you can come home and tell me, you be butt naked in the bed, and I'm like, what happened? Oh, that they was painting you? Okay.
What?
Like, you had a painter over? All right. Like, maybe you got painted in a nude. I walked in, and that's what dude was doing. Call me the fool, but I'm going to still be in a relationship. That means I trust the explanation. To drastic measures point, there is a stipulation, though. We're going to have a discussion. You never told me this was what you wanted to do. You never gave me the heads up. So your situation seemed a little questionable. Next time this occurs, I'm not rolling with it. But the whole point is there's just so many different ways, so many different avenues. That's why we relationship builders, right? Yeah. When we have our sessions, we hear 27 different ways and 27 different things people go through, right?
But it's really bottom line.
And everything's not the same, but there's a bottom line to it. So it's like, do you trust them? Do you not trust them? Because all we can do is advise you to hang on if you trust. If you don't trust, to let go.
Yeah, I guess just to be a little transparent, I guess that might be where I fall short. Like, I would have the conversation, but I don't even give the ultimatum. Like, next time this happens, I'm keeping it moving. Like, next time it happens, I just keep it moving because I don't already express myself.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're that guy. So when you do that, do you ever feel like it's unfinished business, or you just really just keep it moving? You know what I mean?
I'll express myself and let it be known why. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just, most likely I can't say never, but most likely I wouldn't just ghost the person. Most likely I'll give them an explanation, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm pretty much going to express myself, but I probably didn't give that ultimatum when it, you know what I'm saying, when it happened the first time. Like, next time this happens, I'm leaving. I'll probably just leave next time it happened because I already expressed that I don't like it. You already apologized. We already discussed it. You already acknowledged that you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So now if I'm seeing a pattern, like, I'm not sticking around for the third time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would always recommend to have discussion too. My thing is always, I'm gonna roll with you until I don't feel like I'll ever come back. Like the
Yeah,
back and
same.
forth stuff, and then I'm like with another girl, but kind of thinking of my ex, and I'm not trying to put nobody else through that. So I'm gonna ride with you until I see like I'm really making this move.
Yeah, because what tends to happen is you think when you move on, you think, damn, if this part of this person was this, you know, if they just didn't do this, then we probably will be together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't ever want to move forward with thinking that that will be the case. You want to move forward, having the conversation with the person, knowing that, hey, I don't like this about you. You continue to do it, then there's not going to be an us. And that person agrees. Like she knows exactly where you stand. She knows exactly what you're dealing with, what you're not dealing with. And she's making a conscious decision to say, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. She knows that she's putting the relationship at risk. So I think that you have a better time, a better chance of moving on without thinking back on, damn, if she didn't do this one thing, then we'd probably still be together, because you would know that it doesn't matter because she's always going to do it because she didn't really truly believe it anyway.
Yeah, but my only problem with that suggestion that you just made is that, is she complying because she's scared of the consequences, or is she complying because she doesn't want to disrespect me?
I think
You know
that
what I'm saying?
She could be.
because
Say that one more time. I didn't hear you.
Because it seems like the way you just explained that, it seemed like she would be complying at that point just because she's afraid of the consequences.
Not necessarily.
Not because, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not coming from a genuine place. That's just, I don't want to deal with these consequences.
Again,
but everything comes with a consequence.
Somebody that is afraid of consequences that they'll never repeat again.
Yeah.
That's not accountable. That's just agreeing just because they fearful. Like, you got to always ask yourself the question in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you got to always believe the person you with is the best person, the people you're around, the best human beings you're around.
Mm-hmm.
Once you lose that, then you can pick them up anywhere. That's where the cheating starts. That's where everything starts changing.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start looking at the girl like she typical, why are you with her when you could be with another typical chick?
Yeah.
So overall, it's all about how you view the woman. If she's just going to be agreeable, and 9 times out of 10, how long are you really supposed to be with her? Because you can't trust her anyway because she doesn't have a mind of her own.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, to your initial point, and I'm going to touch on this, is like, initial point, I think that that's a really big thing that you said. You're very mindful, and I think that's the thing. A lot of people stay in relationships longer, like when a situation happens and they like tolerate a certain situation, like even let's say drastic, like if you say whatever you say and you're like, well, if this person does it again, like you don't necessarily tell them, right? But in your mind, you're thinking like, okay, but this chick does it again, like I'm out, right?
Like
I think
she should know.
Yeah, I think the fact that on your end, Aziz, that you know, like, you know what, I might give her 5 chances, but you're conscious of it. Where a lot of people, whether they're like they make a decision and they just kind of like go with their feelings,
It's
which
an
leaves them
emotional feeling,
a lot longer. You're like, I know that this happens. I expressed it. I don't like it, but I'm gonna let it run its course until I'm ready. It's a very different thing. They look very similar, but it's a very different thing when you know exactly what you're doing and how long you're going to tolerate it. You know, like obviously not a length of time, but how much you can take versus somebody who's just going about a relationship emotionally. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important that you made that very clear, how like you're conscious of it. And to this point about like what Jerry said, like when you do mention it drastic, like, and I understand what you're saying, like you don't want them to be doing shit just because they're scared of like losing you. But I do think in any relationship, there are going to be certain things like that. Let's say in my past life with Aziz, like he might not necessarily have cared for, and I'm like, it wasn't a big deal to me. But that's why I was able to, I wanted to change, not because I didn't necessarily care for it, but because he didn't necessarily like it. Mm-hmm. And I like, that was okay for me. It wasn't like it was a big stab at something I really wanted to do and I was changing completely who I was. But there's compromises in a relationship. So listen, if he doesn't like the fact that like he has a problem with my level of communication, yeah, I don't want to lose this dude. This dude is a good dude. So you know what? I'm going to up my communication. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it is a consequence. I don't want to lose them. So I'm going to change something about me. And honestly, I might just take that to my next relationship. But there is a fear factor there. And that's okay.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I mean?
agree.
So I don't think that you should be
You
like,
should-
well, because some of it is genuine. I genuinely care for him. I don't want to lose him. So, and it's not a big deal to me to make this change. So, hey, I'm gonna make that shit happen. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, and it's true accountability, and I think you want to be with people that are truly accountable, and they believe that they messed up and they don't want to lose you. So, I could see drastic where there's that fine line between someone, you know, just worried about losing you as opposed to being with you. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I get that, but at the same time, to Aziz's point, you have to find people that or connect with women that want to be with you and know that there's certain things that will happen. They don't want to lose you, so they are going to maybe tweak certain things to not lose you, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was that. This has been a lovely discussion. On that note, you know, we went like 40 minutes over. I enjoyed the discussion. And we, you know, we're gonna have another one. I mean, when the 21st? Me and Jerry still ironing that out, but we're gonna have another one coming up. So we hope people, you know, more people join the discussion. And Drastic, thanks.
Yeah,
Jazz,
thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for having us or having me.
All right, enjoy.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Good night, guys.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.